On this website by an internal medicine physician, he says, this peptide works as a natural appetite suppressant.
Natural?
That's right. It's on the doctor's website. Okay, so let's say I'm a patient. We'll just do a case study here. And, I want to lose some weight and I want to do peptides to do it. Definitely not going to take semaglutide because I want to take peptides.
Peptides, yeah.
Not medication. So let's say I want to do some tesofensine and I want to lose some weight. I'm going to read here about the peptide tesofensine. So on this website by an internal medicine physician, he says, this peptide works as a natural appetite suppressant.
Natural?
That's right. It's on the doctor's website. It's an inhibitor of the reuptake of the brain's neurotransmitters serotonin, noradrenaline, and dopamine, enhancing their presence around cells, regulating energy balance and appetite. Available in capsule form, this peptide will not cause the stimulatory effects one feels when taking standard appetite suppressant medications. So how does a standard appetite suppressant medication work?
Usually through neurotransmitters like noradrenaline or dopamine.
But that looks like the same way that tesofensine works.
It does look like a stimulant, doesn't it? Interesting. Also, is tesofensine really a peptide?
That's a great question. I don't believe so.
It sounds like a combination of something like Sunosi or Wellbutrin with an SSRI, doesn't it?
It does. It is a triple reuptake inhibitor. So it certainly has effects on hormones. So perhaps that would be a better buzzword to use for marketing, that this is a hormone modulating weight loss agent as opposed to being a peptide.
Hormone modulating.
Maybe too many big words.
Agent. Yeah, it seems more apt. That's not a peptide.
But this medication does seem to be promising. We were looking at some of the literature on this earlier today. And there was a trial that was done, I believe, down in Mexico, where obese patients did lose about 10% of their body weight in 24 weeks, which is pretty impressive. When you look at the average diet, people can lose about 5% of their body weight fairly easily, regardless of what plan they choose. But then the problem is going beyond that, and then the maintenance. And that's where, in some cases, pharmacology comes in, and that's what they're looking at, is efficacy over time and being better than just diet and exercise. So this has been around for probably 10, 15 years at this point in research. And actually this year, the company hopes to have it brought to market, not in the US, but in Mexico, followed by some other South American countries. So I suppose to get a foothold and then maybe get approval in Europe and the States eventually.
Yeah, this is a very exciting medication. I think of it as a combination of Sunosi, which is basically bupropion, but it's more noradrenergic and less dopaminergic. So there's a bit more of a balance, whereas bupropion is more of a dopamine reuptake inhibitor, less on the norepinephrine component, and then adding in the serotonin reuptake component, which makes a lot of sense. In the obesity medicine community, it's well known that various SSRIs or SNRIs, which it's serotonin and norepinephrine, can be more weight negative, especially compared to other serotonin reuptake only medications. So it'll decrease pill fatigue and capsule load, but it's not exactly like a novel peptide as many people would make it off to be.
Yeah. So if you look at something like fluoxetine and bupropion, mind the drug-drug interaction there. But those are two weight neutral or weight negative, in most cases, antidepressant medications. One working on the serotonin, the other on dopamine and norepinephrine, would plausibly have similar efficacy if they had a similar trial, but no one is going to fund that because there's not a lot of money to be made from seeing if two cheap generic medications are going to lead to 10% weight loss in about half a year.
Unless it's something like bupropion naltrexone. And not to rabbit trail off too much, we briefly mentioned lifestyle interventions being the control group or placebo group, both really.